Welcome back to the Island of Misfit Toy Collectors. Dreadnought Ryan here, and today I want to talk about the Classified Vamp. Does it match up? Does it still have the magic of what the Real American Hero Vamp had? I'll give you my thoughts, and I would love to hear what you guys think. So let's go ahead and get started. It was September of 1983. I just turned 7, and my obsession with G.I. Joe started at this birthday. I received from my parents the Dragonfly, and then from very good friends, I received the Vamp, the Falcon glider, and then the Cobra version of the glider as well. It was these presents that started me down the road of just basically falling in love with this brand. And the Vamp with Clutch was one of my favorites for pretty much the whole time I was growing up. Clutch looked awesome. He reminded me of my uncle because of his beard. And then, of course, reading the file card that was written by Larry Hama just took a two-dimensional character and turned him into three-dimensional. And of course, the Vamp was really cool. It was durable. It was rugged. It didn't have a lot of moving parts, which was cool. I remember dropping it 1,000 times, running it downstairs. I was rough and played with my toys. And the Vamp could take whatever I could dole out. One of the cool things, of course, with any of the G.I. Joe vehicles during this time is getting those blueprints. I remember scouring over them, of course, not only to figure out where to put all the decals, but just all the different features that it came with. Of course, the 50 caliber machine guns on the back, and of course the little, I believe it's a 7.62 machine gun on the front, and then of course having the gas cans. It just made the Vamp look and play awesome. So let's look at what did originally come with the Vamp, and then we'll look at what the classified, and then we can go from there. So originally, these were the three pieces that you received with the Vamp. It was the steering wheel, the gas cans, and then, of course, the 50 caliber machine guns. As you know, if you have the Vamp now, it comes with a lot more accessories. One thing I do have to give credit to Lenny and the Joe team is they really hit a home run with this particular vehicle. It is the first mid-sized vehicle we've seen that's not HasLab, and I think they really did nail a lot of little cool features that really set it apart from the past versions of it, whether it was the 25th, the 30th, or even the Ninja Cruiser, and then, of course, the Vamp second version where it was the four-seater that we saw with the Pursuit of Cobra line. But overall, you get, of course, the gas cans. You do get the entrenching tool, which was molded onto the Stinger and the Vamp Mark II. You do get the little clip for the machine gun from the front. Of course, the 50 caliber machine guns now come with ammo cans, the roll pack that we saw on the Stinger and the Mark Vamp 2, and now light bars that can be added, as well as an axe and a fire extinguisher. And more importantly, you get a set of oh shit handles, which really sets it off as well. Overall, back in 1983, when I got the Vamp, it looked awesome. It was a very cool design. It was a prototype, I believe, called the Cheetah that was not pushed into manufacturing for the United States Army. And it continues to look better even this many years later. Gosh, it's been 40 years since then. The updates that were done, I love the fender flares that they added. You do have the little gas cap towards the back. Of course, adding side mirrors and a rear view mirror really set it off. Plus having the little step stools or the step on the side of the Vamp look great as well. Here's a look at the top, of course, of the Vamp from 1983, and then the updated version as well. I do like the fact that we do see paint apps for the seats, and then, of course, the updated 50 caliber machine guns do look great as well. Adding the entrenching tool and the little pack on the top of the hood also set off the Vamp perfectly. Of course, here's from the side, and then again from the side as well. Again, I appreciate now not having to put on decals. I like seeing that these are tampos that have been added, so they're perfectly placed. I don't have to worry about shaky hands or just old eyes, and then having them already put on there really just kind of sets off the Vamp for me. Of course, here's the front of the Vamp, 1983. And then the 2024 version. I have to say, seeing the attachments for tow hooks, having the winch with working rope, of course, the light bar, and then all of the other features, it just really, again, the Joe team did a great job for this vehicle. the back, and then of course the back of the Vamp as well too. Great homage with updates, and I think that's the biggest thing. It still stayed true to the Real American Hero version that I got in 1983, which again, like I said, was one of my favorite vehicles. But the updated classified version still has that same feel, while just adding some more features to it, or just updating it a little bit more to make it a little bit cooler. I have to say, if I had the classified Vamp back in 1983 as a 7-year-old kid, I would have been blown away. Just the attention to detail, the cool little features that have been added, it really set it off. I'm very happy with this vehicle, and for $100, I think it is a great price. We know this has been future-proofed, which basically means we're going to see repaints of this particular vehicle. So I say bring them on. Another awesome feature that they've added is just some of the little details, the little chain on the front bumper. Of course, again, with the light bars, the cautions on the front. But then even looking at the dashboard, you see that the instrument has details added to it. So it really sets it off. You do also have a working shifter, and then, of course, the steering wheel. It's those little types of details, the buttons, the paint apps on those that really just kind of make me go, I'd love to see what Lenny and team can do with, I don't know, the Thunder Machine maybe, or some other of the Joe vehicles to see what kind of cockpit details or interior details we could see. One cool feature with the wheels, with the past version of the Real American Hero, it was on metal axles. And unless you knew how to use WD-30 or, put some talcum powder or something on those bars, your Vamp would get that whistling death sound when you'd roll it across the floor. With the updated version for the Vamp, they have two basically pinned into the hub and then into the body of the Vamp, a little dumbbell peg. And what you do is that just clips right in. Another nice feature that's been added to the classified version is shock absorbers. So you can get some play as far as the vehicle will move up and down, so you can get some great pictures if you're putting them over rocks and such. Another awesome thing that we found, of course, is that the hood does flip open. It comes with the motor. It does have a lot more detail than I thought it would. Looks to be a very big V8, which is nice. But for play features, just for photography, just for coolness, let's just be honest. Being able to pop that motor out, swap it out, reminds me of the old Striker with what you could do with that by pulling that motor out. And it just kind of continues that same playability that we had in the past. Let's talk about Clutch. The file card is truly what made Clutch one of my favorite Joes. The fact that he was from Asbury Park, New Jersey, that he was a mechanic. My dad was a mechanic. My grandpa was a mechanic. And like I said, he looked like my uncle. So, I really identified with Clutch. He was a street racer. He did a lot of different things. Of course, you find out that he had graduated from advanced infantry training, covert ops school. He was an executive bodyguard. Of course, he was Ranger School qualified and an expert in a number of different weapons. But the description of Clutch, the quote, he greases his hair with motor oil, rarely shaves, and chews on the same toothpick for months. Clutch still calls women chicks. It just showed that he was the Marlon Brando from the Wild Ones. He was a true throwback to the days of the greaser, the street rod racers. Growing up in Michigan, racing the quarter mile was from stoplight to stoplight. Being home of not only Ford, Chrysler, and GM, but vehicles have always had a big impact on our lives here. And I think that's another reason why Clutch really stuck out to me. Overall, I included an image from Clutch from the cartoon, as well as the figure. He just looked different from the rest of the Joes, with the beard, just with his attitude, the look that he had. I think he just really looked like, pardon my French, but a badass. And he always kind of carried himself that way. And looking at the update that they've done with the classified figure, it's a nice homage, but again, it's adding a little bit more and, updating it. I do like the fact that Clutch is a little bit bulkier. He has the rolled up sleeves. Of course, comes with the tattoos, but it's still staying true to the same, paint deco and apps that we saw in tooling from the original, with adding little bits and dabs here and there. Of course, the removable pistol on the front, which is basically just Hawk's pistol, and then having a little toolkit on the side where you have the wrench, the flashlight, and then just a couple different pouches and pockets and stuff with it. One other cool feature is that with those tattoos, you do get the little pinup girl with like a V8 with the pistons going, and then of course racing with a motor that's blowing up. It's just those cool little details, which I could definitely see on Clutch. He does also come with the wristwatch, which is another cool feature as well. The figure originally would just have the same green helmet that we saw with a number of different Joes. He does come with the updated green helmet that we've seen with Roadblock, with Grunt, with a number of the different Joe figures, but also a Steel Brigade variation of it. And I do like this not only because it has the teeth painted on the side, but I like that the visor is red and it looks like it has a targeting type computer screen on it, which would tie into, of course, the Vamp with the 50 caliber machine guns, where Clutch could control those machine guns while he was driving. So just a nice little nod, attention to detail that I think Lenny and team did that really set this figure off. One thing I do have to say is the shotgun that he did come with is suffers from that soft plastic syndrome. And what I ended up doing is I had a Remington 870 that I purchased from Arsenal Pew Pews. So that is the shotgun that Clutch is going to carry for me. And I've also added my Kit Bash version of CoverGirl to be his co-pilot. I like the fact that she has that little computer tablet and, of course, the wrench on her side. So this will be my Joe Mechanic team together in the Vamp. They'll run over Cobra, shoot down the Trouble Bowls, and then tangle with the Hiss Tank if needed. And then hopefully Clutch will find somebody that will actually not shoot him down every time he makes a pass at him as well. Overall, I think that it's just an absolute home run. I don't think it has the same magic just because when you're 7 years old and you discover a brand new toy line that changes the way you look at toys completely, it's hard to ever match that. What I do have to say, though, is this Vamp really shows what kind of possibility there is with this Joe team for this line and what we could see coming down the pipe. This is a home run. They ticked all the right boxes. They didn't make the mistakes of what we've seen in the past. I mean, it's got a windshield that will flip down so you can flip it back up. Easy to get the figures in and out. They sit in there very well. I just think that it was an easy yes for me, and I'm much happier now that I have it in hand. I've been playing with it for the last 2 or 3 days just because it's just been so much fun to play with. But more importantly, I want to thank everybody who's recently joined the Island Misfit Toy Collectors, and of course everybody who's been here from the beginning. Let me know what you guys thought of the Vamp. Did you pick one up? Are you waiting for the Stinger or the Vamp Mark II or hopefully the Dreadnought version of it? I'd really like to hear what you guys think. And if you did have the A Real American Hero version or the 25th, the 30th, or even the updated Vamps that were the 4-seaters, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Appreciate it. And more importantly, wherever you're at on the Island Misfit Toy Collectors, I hope you're having a great day, night, evening, or morning. And more importantly, yo, Joe. Thanks, guys.